Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another video, and we're going to be talking about Freely because, would you believe it, it's launched. It's here. Coming so soon after my last video. I literally recorded that video about Freeview and sort of tying it in with Freely, and then the next day they're like, yeah, it's here. So now I'm here to talk about it. So awkwardly timed aside, Freely has now apparently launched here in the UK. It is now available. I must admit, quite a subdued launch. I thought this was going to be heavily promoted, but from what I've seen anyway, it's not been widely promoted. There is a new promo clip, which for some reason is an unlisted link. I found it through the Hollywood Reporter website talking about this, but it's unlisted for some reason, but it's all just very confusing. But anyway, there's a swath of different places. I'll be taking a look at the stuff from RXTV. You guys know they provide such reliable information about entertainment, about the broadcast world, so definitely go and check them out if you haven't done before. It says public broadcasters welcome Freely and confirm TiVo is on board. A day after Freely's launch details were revealed, public broadcasters have hailed the new platform, saying it will future-proof live TV. It will allow smart TV users to watch live TV without an aerial or dish, but as we revealed yesterday, at launch there's relatively few channels are available, and don't worry, we will be touching on this as well. At present, you still need to plug in an aerial to receive the full range of channels, including Talking Pictures, GB News and Quest. The main channels from the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and 5 are available without an aerial. In addition, services from STV and S4C are also available via streaming in their normal broadcast areas. However, with an aerial, Freely TVs will take the existing Freeview signal and insert extra channels onto its own TV guide, which has its own channel numbering system. In time, more services will be available via streaming, meaning the aerial will become redundant. And this was one of the appeals of Freely. Its ultimate aim is it's going to deliver all these channels, all these programs, all this content via streaming, via the internet. You know, you'll no longer have to use a TV aerial or a satellite dish to carry it. It will all be done via your internet. Now, it seems as it's launched, that isn't the case at the moment. It's only a few channels that are available via streaming, but as it says, you can have Freely and then have an aerial installed and you'll get all these extra channels, which is great at this time right now, but doesn't it kind of defeat the whole purpose of what Freely was meant to be designed for? You know, why not launch with, I mean, you're relying on the broadcasters to make their services compatible or available online only. That's going to take some time, but it is quite a surprise. Just jumping to another article on that, this was posted yesterday. This must have literally been posted after I finished my last video, by the way. So it says slim picking is on offer if you want to ditch the TV aerial. The first TVs that support Freeview streaming replacement Freely are reaching retailers ahead of a big summer of events for the free-to-air broadcasters behind the service. Hisense has become the first manufacturer to launch Freely compatible TVs, with devices from other manufacturers to follow soon. Now, I went on the Currys website, which for those outside of the UK, Currys is like one of our biggest electronic retailers that we have going. And I typed in the word Freely and it brought up some TVs, not Hisense ones. I typed in Hisense, and from what I could see when you go in like the product description, none of the ones I found at the moment say that Freely is this service that they offer. So to find a Freely compatible TV, it's saying that they've launched these TVs. If they're available for purchase, finding them is a bit vague at the moment. Your best bet would probably be to go into a Currys store or any other electrical store and say, hey, I'm looking for a TV that has Freely, and the staff hopefully will be able to pick out the right one for you. Freely is now available on all new 2024 model 4K Hisense TVs in the UK, so there's some clarity for you there. So assuming you're getting a model, make sure it's from 2024, and it should have Freely within it. But early adopters wanting to ditch the aerial face a reduced channel lineup, with many free-to-air channels only available if the TV is connected to an aerial. Freely TV is designed to work as standard Freeview receivers when not connected to the internet. However, this means smart TV apps are not available. So, you know, without the internet, obviously you're losing the app stuff, but if you're using it for the internet, you're not going to get all the free-to-air channels that exist via Freeview just yet with an aerial. At launch, only channels from the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and 5 are available. The broadcasters who directly have shareholdings in Everyone TV, who is the company behind both Freeview and Freely. That makes sense. If the main public service broadcasters, who are the major investors, the major promoters of this new Freely service, if their stuff wasn't available via streaming, you know, the core function of this new thing, then that'd be pretty embarrassing. Services from Sky, such as Sky News and Challenge, UK TV, including channels such as Dave, Warner Brothers Discovery, which include channels like Quest, are missing from the Wi-Fi Ethernet launch lineup. The only way to receive these and more is to connect to a traditional TV aerial. So, bit of a blunder right out of the gate to not have everything available streaming right off the bat. So if you want those extra channels, you're still going to be relying on the old aerial system, just as Freeview operates on now. But if you mainly just want the BBC ITV channel 4 or 5, you're good to go. Questions, will this ever change? Well, in time, the goal is for more channels to become available via streaming. UK TV, which is owned by BBC Studios, the commercial arm of the BBC, is already preparing to make its channels available via streaming. We did talk about that in a past video. As additional channels become available, broadcasters will be able to set a flag telling freely... As additional channels become available, broadcasters will be able to set a flag, telling freely receivers to switch from the terrestrial signal to the online stream of the channel. That makes sense. Again, their goal is to get everything streaming eventually as the default, so that's no surprise there. Where channels are streamed instead of delivered via the terrestrial broadcast network, as in transmitted to your aerial, HD picture quality is available. Everyone TV anticipates Freely devices with satellite capability will become available in time. This will allow viewers to use an existing satellite dish to complement the streaming channels. Again, it's great that you can still, in theory, use or eventually use satellite with Freely, but I literally thought the whole idea was to push this. We're going fully streaming, fully internet-based only, so relying on aerials and satellite dishes seems a bit counterproductive. When you look at the streaming only option with Freely, so these are the channels that are, these are the channels you'll get if you're only using the internet to receive services, and it breaks it down all parts of the UK, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. ITV is not available in Northern Ireland via streaming because it's available via UTV. That makes sense. Channel 4 is not available to stream in Wales, but that's okay because S4C covers that base. Although there is a separate thing for Channel 4 on Channel 8 there, that's bizarre. It's mainly just regional things at the minute with the public service broadcasters, but again, all of them from the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and 5 are on here currently in their own numbers. Radio-wise, everything seems pretty much available as well from these services right from the get-go, including the vast catalogue of BBC local radio. In fact, looking at this list, all of the radio stations on here are BBC-based only. It says Hisense TVs with Freely will be available at retailers including Currys, Argos, AO and Very. Further device manufacturers will launch their Freely products soon. So again, it's implying that the Hisense stuff is already out there. So if you can find it, good on you. As Freely will sit alongside other apps installed by the smart TV manufacturer, viewers will be less likely to need separate streaming boxes. As Freely devices roll out, Freeview Play will be gradually phased out, although existing TVs will continue to be supported. And I think that's good. I think there was a big worry that the minute Freely launched that certain Freeview aspects like Freeview Play would be phased out. I'm glad that they're continuing to support it for now. As we talked about in the last video, there's about 16 million homes of the roughly 28 million in the UK that have Freeview as their primary source of watching TV. So that's a lot of houses to convert over. So to scrap Freeview straight away would have been a really daft move. It claims TiVo joins in. In a new development, it has also been announced that TiVo, which is a subsidiary of Xperi Inc., will be offering Freely as part of its TiVo OS platform. It will run on smart TVs powered by TiVo, providing consumers with choice and a simple navigation to discover content quickly and efficiently without the burden of walled gardens. Initially, Freely will be available via Vestel smart TVs powered by TiVo, which are launching in the coming weeks. Vestel produces a range of premium and budget TVs sold under a variety of sub-brands, including Bush and Hitachi. So if budget TVs are also going to include Freely, I think that's great. That's going to really open the door for more people to get it straight away. They might still be costly, but budget TVs are generally priced to be a bit more accessible, and if it can get more people switching onto Freely quicker, then everyone TV is going to be happy about that, because I guess with Freely launching, they want people off of Freeview as soon as possible. A bit about the history of Freely. It says the new service marks the first time all 4 of Britain's public service broadcasters have come together to launch a streaming proposition. Some of the broadcasters have attempted before. A combined video on demand service under the name Project Kangaroo was shot down by regulators 15 years ago. Then, in 2012, they joined forces with major internet service providers, or ISPs, to launch YouView, but that ended up being dominated by the ISPs. Freely sees the broadcasters go it alone to offer a service that can easily be used with any ISP. And it's really great, I think, that all the public service broadcasters have come together for this, because, you think even 20, 30 years ago, collaboration on this scale was rare, but now you've got all of them making this service together or contributing to it. And let's face it, it's partly out of desperation. They all need to survive. They all need to adapt into the future of television. And if this is the primary way to do it, by working together, so be it. In 2021, Channel 5 finally joined Digital UK, now known as Everyone TV, which is the platform operator of both Freeview and Freely. 19 years after the launch of Freeview, blimey, all UK-wide public service broadcasters were finally on board. And each of them had a corporate spokesperson to talk about this, so let's quickly go through them. We have Kieren Clifton, who's the Director of BBC Distribution and Business Development. They said, "The launch of Freely is a historic moment for UK television. Collaboration between the UK PSBs is critical to connecting and protecting all audiences as we transition towards the streaming era, and delivering live TV over broadband for free is a groundbreaking innovation that will future-proof public service broadcasting." We're talking about future-proofing. Whilst delivering live TV over broadband for free is technically true, broadband ain't free. Internet is not free. There's still a cost. There's all the debate with the license fee as well, but internet itself is not free. And if you want decent enough broadband to cover television streaming in like a HD or even 4K quality, that's going to cost you, and we'll have to see how that affects take-up in the next months and years. We have Martin Goswami, who's the ITV Group Strategic Partnerships and Distribution Director. They said the success and impact of programs like Mr. Bates versus the Post Office shows the importance of UK PSBs, and ITV is proud to be part of this exciting new chapter for free TV in this country with Freely. Bringing live stream channels and on-demand content together in Freely gives viewers the opportunity to access the very best in British content as easily as possible, from live and recent programmes to a wealth of on-demand options. I like how he was like, I'm going to insert my own programme in there, we're going to highlight ITV. It just makes me chuckle. You have Grace Boswood, who is the Technology and Distribution Director for Channel 4. They said Freely will deliver the best of Britain's world-leading public service content seamlessly and for free. It further supports Channel 4's fast-forward strategy as we accelerate our transformation into the streaming age, ensuring our trusted, brand-safe content is available to everyone. And again, they're all doing this, moving into the streaming age, as they say, adapting, changing, and further change is going to come. And then finally, we have James Tatum, who's the SVP Business and Revenue for Channel 5, who says, "We're delighted to be part of Freely, which will ensure UK audiences can continue to easily discover and enjoy original, high-quality British programmes from Channel 5 and the other public service broadcasters live and on demand for free." And again, I get why they're pushing the whole free angle. It's literally in the name, Freely. But just bear in mind, it all comes down to your internet connection primarily. Yes, if you've got an aerial and eventually a satellite dish, you can plug that in to access more stuff. But eventually, they'll want to do this primarily over the internet. I bet they'll eventually want to phase out aerial and satellite dish compatibility. Maybe not in the first few years, but give it time. Give it time. So that is the meat and potatoes of it. We've also got this new promo for Freely again, like I mentioned earlier. And it's just, doing what you'd expect, highlighting the services that are on there, explaining a bit about what it does, how it works. It's funny how in part of it, it says no dish, no box. Well... no dish, no box if you only want the main public service broadcaster channels. But again, you're going to have to keep them around initially. But eventually, I guess they'll want to scrap it. At the bottom, it says purchase a Freely TV and minimum broadband speed of 10 megabits or megabytes, whatever it is, required. Extra costs may apply. Some players, player content and Freely services may not be available. Oh, love that. Of course, they'll have to disclose that. It's saying you can watch it all in one place, except... No wonder they've only chosen to highlight stuff from the main public service broadcasters here. And 10 megabit speed, okay, that's not necessarily the worst in the world. I think you can get a decent rate for that speed alone. But it's saying that's what's required. It doesn't specify whether that's the required rate to watch programs in HD or just in standard definition. I get what it means, though. It's saying the mini guide that pops up there is a great way to pause and restart live TV. It can bring up the main guide. We talked about the interface before, and it seems... quite, standard of what we'd expect nowadays. It seems like it's taking the Freeview concept and really evolving it into the 2020s and for the streaming age, as everyone keeps saying. And the best part, it's all for free. Well, no, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We've talked about it. But again, when they're saying when you've bought your internet connection, in theory, and then when you've bought your TV, you'll be able to stream all of this stuff for free. It doesn't yet claim that. I haven't seen anything about how the license fee into it, because the license fee, as much as it does fund the BBC, but the license fee in general is to cover live television broadcasts. Now, I don't know how that's going to be incorporated into Freely. I think these questions are going to be raised come 2027 when that's all up for debate and potential renewal, or if it's going to be abolished. We don't know. But again, I understand why they're pushing the freeness in their advertising. It makes sense. But just remember, the internet ain't free. Neither is a new TV, because your old one ain't going to be compatible. But Freely's out there. It's happened, everyone. It's finally out there. Again, a bit more of a subdued launch than I think a lot of us expected. There hasn't been a great big fanfare yet. I hope that they start advertising it on television, or we start seeing a bigger push for it, because if they really want the 16 million homes who primarily use Freeview to adapt, they're going to have to really push it to them, to sell it to them as to why Freely is the natural option and successor for them. It's going to take time. I don't know whether they'll make it for that 2035 proposed deadline or not, but we'll have to wait and see. But yes, I mean, let me know what you think. What do you think now that Freely's actually here? Are you going to rush out to get a new Freely compatible TV, or are you going to wait a bit for the prices to come down? What do you think about its launch? The fact about not all channels are available via streaming right out of the gate? Let me know all of the thoughts we've talked about today in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on it. It does help us out. And subscribe too. We'd love to have you aboard here with us. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, Globe of Reviews, Derek Chambers, Shaun Knock, Daud Khan, Liam De-Maine, Trev Hughes, Ajmac 200017, Dec KP20, Simon Harrisson, Evan Hart 41, Jen, Ted Elliott, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, and Robert Oliphant, our AMTV staff members.